Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there. Hi, Paige.
Hi.
Welcome to the Jersey Girl Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to actually finally talk.
I know.
I followed your page for a little bit after I went to Drip,
Yes.
and
Drip.
I saw the things you were doing, and I was like, I really want to get on the podcast. And I was literally going to DM you later that day, the day that you DM'd me.
Oh my god.
So
That's so funny.
I was like, oh my god, she reached out to
That's
me first.
fate. It's fate.
Yeah.
That's so
I know we're talking about social media and all that right now, but why don't we give
Yes.
everyone a little background about your company, how you got started? Just give us a little surface level.
So I started my business in August. I'd been applying for jobs since May. I just graduated college. It was super discouraging, not getting interviews, all that kind of thing. Everyone goes through it. It's a tough thing. Nobody really talks about it. And I felt like I needed to use me coming from the Jersey Shore where like everyone has these small businesses. They don't really utilize social media. And I started gaining clients down there just like freelancing, just what I would usually do on the side of like my babysitting job for fun. And I started working for the Blonde Chalet, which is my first client. They have a grab and go like salad, prepared dinner place in Little Silver and Seeger, and she hired me as just kind of like the town representative to spread the word out because she was opening in Seeger, and she was like, "Oh my god, I don't know anyone here. Like, who can I hire that just like knows what's going on around here?" And I was like, "I'll do it." So we got connected. I started working with her, and it took off from there. I kind of just like decided to make a name for myself, and I don't know. My boyfriend actually came up with the name Front Page.
I love the name.
It's
like
so fun.
I didn't put two and two together until I started reading your bio, and I was like, oh, that's where it comes from. Yeah.
And like the FRONT, the regular spelling of it was taken. So I decided to kind of make it a little edgier, a little more fun, do FRNT. And I felt like it could just be a whole brand. Like I had a whole vision for it before I even started it. And then it just all kind of started falling into place, which is great.
So you said you went to college, obviously. You just graduated. What did you study at college?
I went to Monmouth University for 2 years and I was a comm student, but I specialized in PR and journalism. So I was a big writer. Like I always wanted to do writing. I always had a personal blog. Like it was a huge passion of mine. And I always say like the only thing I write now is Instagram captions. And that's where like I put it into. I wish I could like write more than that because I think it's super important and like the power of writing has completely gone away, especially with AI and everything like that. So I hope to utilize that more in my business. Like maybe I create some sort of blog or like I love Goop. I love like what they do. Like I would love to create some sort of blog and utilize what I actually learned in school. But I also hated school. I was not a school person at all.
I'm the same way. I was telling you we were talking. I hate school.
Hated it. I was the type of person that like in high school my GPA was awful and then I went to college and like kind of got it together and cared a little bit more and then I just like I was a great student, but I didn't care to be there and I didn't want to make friends there. I didn't want to be in a sorority. Like it just was not my vibe.
Yeah.
So I was always kind of like on the outside of things. So I feel like starting my own company wasn't something totally out of the ordinary for me to do, even though I wasn't expecting it.
No, I'm the same way. I feel like they push college so hard on kids, which is some kids like they like college. That's good for them. But I feel like if you're looking to do something creative, creatively in the creative space, if you're looking to not work for someone else, it's hard to figure that out because there's no like guide to it. You just have to do it yourself.
Yes, 100%. I was just talking to someone recently about like this idea that you spend your college years being told how to fit into other people's molds of like, okay, learn how to do this so that you can work in this job, learn how to do this so you can graduate from here, learn how to do this. And it's like, how don't we learn to like make your own thing? Like it's so weird to me that you learn how to like you learn the skills to fit into other people's lives in a way. And so it's like to be able to do it on your own is huge and nobody teaches you how to do that. I've never learned like one tip of how to start my own business. I had no idea what I was doing. So it's little things like that that teach you like the school system is just totally backwards and like not normal at all.
I was so lucky that in high school we had a class where you ran a company online and like they had the same steps. So that was kind of something I got like a taste of it. But even like there's nothing else besides what I've learned besides myself or on YouTube.
And
or stuff like that.
experiences and people around you. And in college, I took one class that I actually enjoyed. I honestly don't even, it was actually like a Shark Tank class, so
Oh,
we
that's
kind of
cool.
pitched this idea of a game or like a product or a business, and I made a card game that was meant like it was targeted toward like cocktail lounges, and you could go and bring this like the card game would be like we would market it toward the business or the lounge or the little wine bar,
Mhm.
and the little cards would be at the tables because I was talking to this bartender and she told me that the awkwardest thing she has to go through is seeing people on first dates and seeing people like
Oh,
not able to talk to each other,
yeah.
and that is like it's so painfully awkward to like meet people that just can't talk and can't
Yeah.
have a conversation, and it's so lost now, like no I feel like nobody can
Yeah.
anymore. So I made this game and designed this whole concept of this game and this brand that like you play it and then it's anonymous behind the scenes and you can connect with people and learn more
Hmm.
about each other, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of how I thought more about starting my own business because I
Yeah.
feel like it was the only experience I had in like creating something.
Yeah. So there was always like a thing that you always thought maybe you could start your own business. It wasn't out of the
Yeah.
ordinary for
I
you at
actually
all.
wanted to be an esthetician
Mhm.
or start a skincare brand, which is totally like now I would never do that in my
Yeah.
lifetime. But I thought about doing that, and then I always thought I would do social media,
Mhm.
because I interned in college doing social media, and I loved it, but it was way too corporate for
Mhm.
me, like, way too much of a
Yeah.
big environment for me to be in.
When did you decide you wanted to not take the corporate route, not get a job following someone else, and you wanted to start your own thing?
So, when I was in college, I interned for Tarte Cosmetics on the social media marketing team, and the team was very small, but obviously in a company like that, you tend to get really lost because there's so many people above you, and
Mhm.
I could create like 10 really good ideas, but they don't actually make it out. Like it's like
Yeah.
maybe one of them does, but the rest of them get, flagged by people or get looked at by all these,
Mhm.
just like what you're creating is never actually yours, I feel like, because maybe if they do use it, it's not like you're getting credit. It's not like you
Yeah.
feel like it was your idea. It kind of just gets lost. Um, and I spent a good amount of time going to the city and like commuting and working in the environment, and I very quickly realized that I loved the company so much and the people there, but I quickly realized like this is not for me. Like
Mhm.
you talk to people more in emails than you do face to face in my experience, and
Yeah.
I was doing it right after COVID. It was a little bit of an awkward time, but I'm really happy that I got the experience there because it taught me like more about starting something smaller of my own.
Yeah.
I guess it was teaching me that I didn't
Mhm.
know it at the time, but
What were
yeah.
the starting steps of creating the business you have now? Like, what were the first kind of couple steps that you had to plan out?
Yeah. I had to call my dad because I didn't know anything. I knew, like I said, that I wanted to create this business, but to me that was like, oh, let's just create an Instagram and a
Yeah.
website. Like I didn't have a website until I hired Carly and we sat down and actually
Mhm.
like went through the website. I needed to develop the LLC. I needed to um get my name, like the trademark. Like I needed to get that across the board because I knew that I wanted to have front page in general, but I also want to have front page in different cities eventually. So
Yeah.
I had to, like prepare for that. And I needed to really put myself out there. Like I almost had to be like really annoying about it
Yeah.
in a way of like any event I was at or any post I was making, I tried to include myself in any way possible to just get my name out there
Mhm.
because again, I started this in a really small beach town, and that's not enough to get your name like spread out
Mhm.
how I wanted it to be. So, um, it was just networking. It's the biggest step.
Networking is the biggest thing.
It's
I wish they
huge.
taught that more in school.
Yeah, it's huge for sure.
And like you were saying about getting your name out there and like being like annoying, it's hard because I feel like you have to find the balance between not being annoying and not being like braggy, but
Yeah.
also like telling people, "Oh, I have this business by the way. Like I'm doing this."
Yeah, like you have to kind of find the support of people first, and I feel like like I don't know, when I would go to people and ask to do marketing, it didn't really start out that way. I kind of got lucky because I met Jess from the Blonde Chalet, and then my second client was Leslie and Greg Besner, and they own Sunflow. So Sunflow is a big beach chair company, modernized beach
Mhm.
chair. They were on Shark Tank. They're like huge. They're amazing people. And I met them actually out one night at the bar and we talked and then kind of just like led into another thing, and then after that I just started building clients as I kept
Mhm.
going. And people I didn't really have to reach out to too many people. It was really like word of mouth
So
most
you
of
would
the
say the way you've grown your brand is word of mouth. It's not like
most
social
of the
media.
time.
It's not like
We've definitely, since I moved up to Morristown, and hired Carly, like we've networked ourselves and like reached out to people enough. Because I don't know how else to do it here. Like I'm not
yeah,
from here. I don't know. I don't think it's the type of place where you just go like door to door and like ask them
yeah.
like it is at home. So, it's still new learning how to grow up in this area for sure.
What's the difference? The main difference between South and North Jersey? Because that you've
Um,
noticed.
I think the best part about like being from a small beach town is how personable it is. Like
Mhm.
you walk outside your door and you see like 10 people you know. And you walk outside and you know who your neighbor is, you know whose dog is walking across the street. Like it's such a special place to grow up and a valuable place. But the difference, I think, is there's wealth and there's success and there's people that start these companies and like do all these crazy things. You would never know it because it's always like behind a closed door. Like if you
Yeah.
come, not even necessarily here, but like if you go to Hoboken, you go to New York, like you could go out and network with people pretty much anywhere. You could go to the bar and sit next to like someone that started something that's now massive that you already know about. Like
Yeah.
at home, that's not there. So it's a major difference to go from a place where like you kind of hear about people, but you don't get to actually talk to them to get
Mhm.
experience at all.
What's your main way of like reaching out to people and networking? Is it through DM? Do you go in person? Like, what's the main way you've been able to
Yeah,
network?
it's mainly through Instagram. I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to build my brand up, but so far we have a pretty good amount of clients, and I think it's just from reaching out. If they see like a fun collab that I did, they'll reach
Yeah.
out and want to do something. It's really all just kind of happened one after the other, which is great.
What's the most rewarding part about starting this and that you've seen that, something that you're like when you hit a hard day, you're like, this makes it worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a hard job, which is like, I don't know. It's hard in a sense of you have to have a lot of trust in yourself because realistically tomorrow all my clients could tell me that they want to like do something else and not work with me anymore. But having trust that I will always be building my company before that could ever happen
Yeah.
is the hardest part. Like I'll be like stressing like, "Oh my gosh, two of my clients just paused for the season, like I should probably find another one." And it's like, okay, no, like we can like wait, we can just see how it goes. They'll come naturally. It's not always going
Mhm.
to be this steady flow of like awesome success. It's not going
Yeah.
to be like that, but it definitely took off really fast. And I was able to see like, like I went from being like a babysitter like 4 or 5 days a week to like this, and it's
Yeah.
totally different life. It's just like it's very rewarding, but you have to be really careful just because it could end very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's like you just have to keep building.
What's something that you feel like set yourself apart from other? Because obviously we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
It's a very saturated market.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying to be social media managers. They're trying to do social media marketing, influencer marketing.
hmm
What have you done to try to set yourself apart that makes you different than others?
I've definitely tried to be more personable. Like I am on all of our clients, like it's me or it's Carly or it's like, like we're very involved in the process. So we go and we do these shoot days and it's like we're modeling the clothes. We're, using the product, whatever it is. And I
Yeah.
feel like that is a big difference because when you see an agency, typically it's an agency. Like if I go on my Instagram and look up a marketing agency, like you could tell that it's a run structured type of business. Like I'm very organized, but it's different where like when we meet a client, we make our services very personalized to what they need and what they want out
Yeah.
of their business. If they're only looking to like not even gain followers, like they just want more insight on like creative ideas and whatever, like we could do that for them. It's not this like strict like service, like you
Yeah.
schedule with us to do this and that's what we do for you. It's like, no, let's like talk through it. Let's find ways. Let's like really build you up. And it takes a lot of time. So like just learning the ins and outs of all of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't study marketing. So it's like I really don't know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of like coming as I go.
Yeah.
And it works when you're able to be personable. I think everything's way too robotic
Yeah.
at this point. So it's like anything that'll stand out is
Mhm.
important.
When you're helping people grow on social media, what are, like, the couple, like, tips you have or advice you would give to kind of different differentiate yourself on Instagram, but also gain more followers?
So, like, for my clients, it's hard because, like I said, it takes a lot of time, and having people understand that is tricky because
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, right now I've been working with these people since August now, so it's like, okay, now I see growth. You don't see growth in a few days. You don't see growth in a month. It takes like a good amount of time. Like I feel like 3 to 6 months is normal from what I've seen. I just test it out. Like every time I go to a shoot, I try to make it a little different than the last one. We just did one yesterday for a client in Hoboken that I have, and like it was like we did a lot more carousel posts, and we're just kind of testing it out to see what works
Yeah.
and what people like. Because really, it's all targeted toward who's following that account. It's
Mhm.
not about like you could be posting about like a workout outfit, but if the people following you aren't interested in that, it doesn't matter how many times you post about it. So it's targeting toward the right audience is huge.
Yeah, and understanding your target market. It's
Yeah.
also hard because I feel like when you're a social media manager and you're trying to, like if you're having, like, older clients, they don't understand, like, everything you're trying to say to them,
Yeah,
and I feel like they're very closed-minded in some ways.
definitely. It's hard because you don't want to like I'm trying to not take away from what these people want for their
Yeah.
business. Like if they want it to look a certain way, like by all means, we can make it look like that. But there's so much value in like coming into your store, coming into your business, your restaurant, and like capturing what's there and then putting it online. It's not like we're just taking like I take photos a certain way. I kind of look at like the lighting and like how their restaurant's set up or how whatever, and I kind of target things toward that because you want to feel like when you're on their page that it's translated toward exactly how it feels when you're inside their space. That's huge to me.
Mhm. If someone were to, like, come to you and be like, "I wanna start my own business, I wanna work in, like, marketing space," what are, like, some tips that you feel like you wish you knew when you first started?
I definitely wish that I knew. I don't know. You have to be very patient and you have to be very willing to like you have to sacrifice a lot of time. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like that. And I've talked a little bit about with you my business structure. It's like unless I have a shoot day, like we're just doing maintenance work. It's like like I try to get everything done towards the beginning of the month and then it's like, okay, I kind of can just make sure I'm uploading every day, make sure I'm doing the right captions, make sure I'm up to date on like if this restaurant is having a certain like holiday party, I'm making sure that I'm posting about it leading up. So it's like you're on everybody else's schedule in a sense,
Yeah.
but you get to make it. So as long as I'm organized and as long as I have everything ready for me, it's not bad, but you have to be patient and like when I wake up every day and know that I have to post across everyone's accounts and remind myself it's like, what if I have to run like to the food store, I'm running to another shoot and I like forget for a few hours. It's like you have to just take a second
Yeah.
and realize that like this is your business. You're giving this person something to enhance their business. So it's like it kind of is on your time in a sense. So you can't feel too overwhelmed with
Mhm.
what's going on or what's not happening. It just kind of will happen.
I know we talked about this earlier off camera about balancing because when it's your business, it's like there's no off time. You don't get a day
Yeah.
off.
No.
How have you been able to try to structure yourself and your life that you get the time off that you need to spend time with your boyfriend or your family or do like
Yeah.
errands and stuff like that?
I will say I'm like always on my phone doing stuff. And I wish I was better at setting the boundary of like if a client texts me at like 8 p.m. asking me to make something or do something that I genuinely don't respond until the next day, like you kind of have to operate on a 9 to 5, even though I'm not working a 9 to 5. Because it gets to be tricky. Like my whole work is on my phone. So if someone texts me and they're like, "Can you do this right now?" It's like, sure, and I will say yes because I'm just like, let's just get it done. But it's like realistically learning how to turn off is very hard. And I think I've learned wait, what were we talking about before with me?
Saturday and Sunday, you try to.
Oh yeah, Saturday and Sunday. So I've learned this more recently. I used to schedule posts out from Monday to Saturday, but I've stopped doing Saturdays a lot just to kind of like give it a rest. I learned you don't have to post on Instagram 7 days a week. It doesn't really matter. So for me, it's giving myself like at least a day or two to just not be posting
Yeah.
anything and just like be in the moment and not be on my phone all the time because
Mhm.
it's really distracting to be on your phone.
Do you have any like tools or apps that you use? Like I know like Sprout, do you schedule things out or is it more just kind of like
Yeah. Everything is scheduled through the preview app. I would like to switch to a different system because it's a little confusing and like I don't even have enough space to add more accounts at this point. So I have to figure that out. But I use preview. Everything gets scheduled out for a month in advance. If a client wants to approve it, they can approve it. They can go in, see the captions, see what time is being uploaded, all of that kind of stuff, and then everything's there. And then as I go, I save trending sounds on their accounts so that when I go to upload a reel, I can already just attach the sound and it's like ready to go.
Mhm.
So I've made it a pretty seamless process, but it took a little bit of time. After I got more than like, I don't know, 10 clients, it was like, okay, I need to actually like
Yeah.
buckle down and know what's working and what's not working. And you figure it out every day because it changes every week. I mean, I
Yeah.
would say it changes every couple of days. So it's like being on top of that is huge.
The social media space is just constantly changing. You
Yeah.
can't it's very hard to keep up.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any, like, advice or tips or even, like, the ways that you try to predict what's gonna be trending, or is it kinda just, like, you're always just scrolling
I
in a
browse and like scroll and see what's going on. I feel like I see more trends on TikTok than I do on Instagram, but like it's not for any other like I just feel like sometimes there's stuff on Instagram that's happening and sometimes there's stuff on TikTok or sometimes it's both. So I'll scroll through, I'll look at what's trending on CapCut even. There's always templates that are trending. Just different ways to engage the audience is
Mhm.
important. So I always try to mix it up a little bit.
I know we also talked that you hired someone. Does
Yes.
she wanna come on?
Carly can come in. This is Carly.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me with
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Can you give us a little background about yourself and your role here?
Yes. So I am recently since October, right?
Mhm.
The marketing director for Front Page. And well, we didn't even talk about how we met.
No, yeah, we need
So
this
Okay,
is
here,
good.
take my mic.
Okay.
Paige and I have known each other for almost 5 years now.
Yeah. So we
Um
were like, we met each other on Facebook because we were freshman year roommates at the College of Charleston. Yes. And then I ended up leaving Charleston quickly and we just stayed friends. And so then Carly was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to find a job, whatever." And I was like, we went to dinner or something." And then the next week I was like, "Yeah, we need to like do something because I was struggling to do it all on my own." And I knew I was moving out to Morristown and I needed someone else that knew like this area, that kind of thing.
yeah, I originally always wanted to work corporate, but then as I started applying like May, I would say, like Paige said. And then as time went on, I kind of was like, I don't know if this is for me, honestly. I would love to do something more concentrated. And I always knew, I mean, I studied marketing in college.
Yeah.
So I knew I always wanted to do marketing, social media specifically. I've always had an eye for. And it's like not even work for me to do. I mean, it is, it's time consuming, but
Yeah,
I enjoy doing it. Like every day as I'm posting, as I'm editing, as I'm coming up with these ideas, I'm kind of like, this is fun and I'm like learning more about it
yeah,
without actually being taught by someone. And yeah, we really do work well together, I think. So
definitely. And it's like it's fun too. You have to think about it as like if you were to post every single day on your own Instagram, like think about how like appealing, how much that would work for you. So it's like being able to post for these people every day and like see it come to life is really fun. And it's not besides the fact that it's time consuming, like you can't really complain. It's like you're just posting on social media and you're editing and you're creating content. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
How do you guys manage, like, a friendship while being, like, boss and, like, coworker? Like, is there any tips you have, or is it kinda just like this just works so well?
I think it works so
It
well.
works well.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely have not boundaries at all, but we're still very good friends.
Like we know, yeah, and also like we weren't like Carly lived up in Westfield, like she would come in the summers in Lavalette. Like we weren't like, like you have your friends from home, I have my friends from
Yeah.
home. We're very much like we don't have the same friends. We don't have like there's not much, like it's kind of just us on the outside of things. So it worked out that way where like it's not like we were like spending 7 days a week together and like talking all day long. Like we
That would be a
definitely
lot.
treat it as more of like like we're really good friends, but it's also working well because we like work together in a business, which is important.
Exactly.
So yeah. But I guess tips would be like I wouldn't like
Spend 24/7 with your work
no.
partner.
Yeah, and don't like just jump into something with someone that you're really, really close with without knowing where it's gonna go. Because if it does take off in a direction like that, you have to be able to like set boundaries and I feel like it's important. So I don't know. You just don't want to have any awkward conversations. So for me, it's like if I hired one of my like really, really close best friends of like 10 years, it would have been tough to like, okay, this is like how things go. And also like internships, like where I had an intern and I'm looking for interns, and being able to set the boundaries of like with someone that's similar in age from you is really tough. So like we have to navigate that now with like who we're having as an intern in the spring, and people taking you seriously is huge. So just working with the right people.
Yeah.
It's not so much about if you're best friends or not. Just work with someone that like actually will work and takes it seriously. It's important for sure.
And we're both very motivated and always looking to grow. So I feel
Yeah.
like if one of us, was like lacking one day, like we always keep each other in check kind
Yeah,
of.
we
which
kind of
is
just
nice.
balance it out, and we evenly distribute like the work that's being done. Like I still have my clients down at the beach that I started with, and then Carly's like up in the northern area. We have one down there that she's on with me, and like it works very well because we can split up the accounts, we can split up the jobs that we're doing, and it's pretty seamless. Like, we haven't run into any issues. So it's great.
Yeah.
You guys want to say your socials and everything so people can follow you if they want to hear more or learn more?
Sure. So front page Instagram is FRNTPAIGE, and my personal Instagram is Paige Stans,
Our TikTok
PAIGESTANS.
also is
Oh yeah,
front page.
is
And
it
then
front page marketing or front page?
no, just front page,
Front
I
page,
believe.
I think. Yeah.
And then my regular Instagram is just Carly with 2 Y's or ERK.
Yes. And we're always looking for people to work. We want hopefully to hire freelancers by the summer, maybe fall, and interns always. So reach out to us.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. It was a fun conversation. Took a little bit to get started, but I'm glad we got through it.
It was a lot of fun. Yay.
We did it.